Suzanne Streeter, 19, and Stacy McCall, 18, graduated from Kickapoo High School in Springfield, Missouri on June 6, 1992. Their celebration plans included attending multiple graduation parties that evening, after which they would stay the night at a hotel in Branson. The following morning, they planned to head out to a water park with a group of friends and fellow graduates. By 10:30 p.m., however, they no longer felt like making the drive to Branson and decided they'd go the next morning instead. They would stay the night over at their friend Janelle Kirby's house. McCall made a call to her mother, Janice, to check in and to let her know about the change of plans. This turned out to be the last time Janice spoke to her daughter. Streeter and McCall then attended a party at the home of one of Janelle's neighbors and stayed there until well after midnight. By around 2 a.m., the girls were ready to go to bed, but they found that Janelle's house was too crowded with visiting family members for them to sleep over. At this point, the friends decided that they would instead spend the night at Streeter's house, which she shared with her 47-year-old mother, Cheryl Levitt, at 1770 East Delmar Street. Levitt, a single mother, worked as a cosmetologist at New Attitudes Hair Salon. She and her daughter had only just moved into this new home the previous April. She also had a son, Bart, from whom she had become estranged in recent years. Streeter and McCall assured Janelle that they'd come back in the morning and that the three of them would still go to the water park together. When Suzanne Streeter and Stacy McCall did not show up at Janelle's house the next morning, Janelle tried to call them multiple times but received no answer. Initially, she wasn't worried, believing that the two likely had slept in after their late night. But as the hours passed, Janelle started to think that she should go over to East Delmar Street just to check things out. Janelle and her boyfriend Mike went over and found something odd right away. The front porch light was broken and glass was all over the porch. Specifically, the globe encasing the bulb was damaged, but not the bulb itself. They didn't find this concerning, however, and Mike even swept the glass up for them, thinking no more about it. The cars of each of the three women were parked out front, although it was notable that Streeter's car, which she parked in the exact same spot every day, was in a different location. Had someone else been parked there when Streeter and McCall arrived? Janelle and Mike found the front door unlocked, but no one was inside. They assumed they had just missed them and that their friends had already left for the water park. However, as they were about to leave, the phone rang. Janelle picked it up and was greeted by an unfamiliar male voice saying lewd things on the other end of the line. She hung up. As it turned out, Street had been receiving prank calls recently, so she wasn't particularly disturbed. After this, Janelle and Mike left. When Streeter and McCall did not show up at the water park, Janelle felt that they should go back to the house to see if the girls were back yet. But when she and Mike arrived, the only person they found was Janice McCall, Stacy's mother, who was hoping to find her daughter there, but the home was still empty. They investigated further and found, bizarrely, the purses of the three women lined up on the floor in Streeter's bedroom. Levitt's dog, Cinnamon, was in the home as well and was acting frantic. Nothing appeared to have been stolen, and there was no signs of forced entry. Janelle also discovered that a message had been left on the answering machine in their absence. When she listened to it, she heard the same male voice from the phone earlier, once again making crude remarks. Unfortunately, she accidentally deleted this message. Finally, they called the police. While waiting for them to arrive, Janelle made the questionable choice to clean the house, thus contaminating what was a probable crime scene. The Springfield Police Department declared the three women missing, and within days, the FBI showed up to investigate. During the first 2 weeks, law enforcement and local residents launched multiple community-wide searches, which included divers looking for bodies in Lake Springfield and the James River. More than 20,000 missing person posters, some of which still remain in storefronts today, went up throughout Springfield during this time. The case also received tremendous media attention, inspiring profiles on CBS 48 Hours, America's Most Wanted, and The Oprah Winfrey Show. Streeter's ex-boyfriend, Dustin, was one of the first names to come up as a suspect. He had recently been arrested for being part of a grave robbing gang, and this was allegedly the reason why Streeter broke up with him. Additionally, she reportedly gave a statement to police implicating him in the crime and was going to be testifying against Dustin in just a few months. Although none of the young men in this gang had a solid alibi for that night, there was nothing to definitively link them to the disappearance of Streeter, McCall, and Levitt, and each passed a polygraph test. Bart Streeter was suspected as well, due to his history of alcoholism and aggression, as well as the falling out he had both with his mother and his sister. Bart's alibi was that he had been drinking and then went home and passed out. Since he had been alone, no one could corroborate his story. But there was no evidence to link him to his sister's disappearance, and he passed a polygraph test. In February 2019, Bart was arrested on suspicion of public intoxication and disorderly conduct, as well as attempted false imprisonment from an unrelated incident in Tennessee. Police once again investigated him for possible involvement in the Springfield case and eventually ruled him out as a suspect. A witness in the neighborhood reported having seen a green van in the area just 2 days after the 3 Springfield women went missing. Supposedly, a blonde woman was driving and the witness heard an aggressive male voice tell her, "Don't do anything stupid." The witness pointed out a picture of Suzanne Streeter to the authorities, claiming that this was the woman who was driving the van. In 2002, the police investigated leads about a suspicious green van that belonged to a group of men working at a concrete company in Wester County. Investigators brought in cadaver dogs and recovered bones from the site. The skeletal remains were tested, but deemed too old to be connected with the case. Robert Craig Cox, a convicted murderer who lived across the street from Streeter and Levitt at the time of their disappearance, was interviewed by Springfield police several times over the years as a suspect. In 1996, investigative reporter Dennis Graves interviewed Cox in a Texas prison and asked him about the Springfield Three. Cox responded, "I know that they are dead. I'll say that, and I know that." When asked if that was a theory, Cox replied, "I just know that they are dead. That's not my theory. I just know that. There's no doubt about that." Cox didn't provide any more information, though he was later quoted as saying he would elaborate on what he knows once his mother has passed away. Later that year, the interview was subpoenaed by authorities and submitted as evidence to a grand jury. However, no charges were handed down. In 2007, a tip provoked a local writer to hire an engineer and use ground-penetrating radar to scan a parking garage at the Cox South Hospital. The engineer said he picked up on 3 distinct shapes that were consistent with human remains. However, the parking garage in question was built a year after the disappearance, and police felt it was unlikely that the bodies wouldn't have turned up during its excavation. Lisa Cox, a spokeswoman for the Springfield Police Department, stated, "Digging up the area and subsequently reconstructing this structure would be extremely costly, and without any reasonable belief that the bodies could be located here, it is illogical to do so, and for those reasons SPD does not intend to. Investigators have determined this lead not to be credible." As of yet, there have been no further developments in the case, and unfortunately, there is no hard evidence for law enforcement to work with. It's as if these women simply vanished into thin air. Former Springfield police detective and current Bolivar police chief Mark Webb said the case changed the way local authorities look at crime. They started looking for computer programs. What are we going to do if we get another case of this magnitude? Still haunted by the cold case, Webb questions himself and his department. Is there something more we could have done? Is there another question we could have asked? Was that person lying to us? Could we have dug deeper there? Just those questions of how could we have done better. In 2021, journalist Ann Rodriguez Jones, who grew up in Springfield, launched a podcast about the disappearance titled The Springfield Three, A Small Town Disappearance. Suzanne Streeter, Stacy McCall, and Cheryl Levitt have now been missing for over 30 years. Thank you for making it all the way through the video. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button and comment down below. And until next time.